The question from Mother Kṛṣṇa. Babaji, is it known how many devotees actually became self-realized through ISKCON?
I'm the only one I know of. Maybe Vishnu John, and Prabhupada said that Jayananda. Yeah. 3. And the other 2 are dead. I don't know of any others. Certainly, the odds would seem to be that there are more, because there's so many devotees. I mean, Prabhupada had practically 10,000 disciples. Where are they are? Well, I don't know where they are. They're not in ISKCON, that's for sure. They all left. And the ones who are left are, not really candidates for enlightenment, because they got all involved in politics and like that. To remain in ISKCON for the last 30 years, after Prabhupada left, you have to be a politician. That's the only way you can stay there. The whole thing has become political. So basically, it would seem to be a disqualification for somebody to be in ISKCON all these years. And if there's anybody that has actually made it to full self-realization, I would think that they would be outside of ISKCON. So the devotees outside of ISKCON are so scattered and so alienated, and we're very, very cautious, for example, about associating with anybody who has a background in ISKCON. Because I know, even myself, I have had lots of bad habits from being in ISKCON and being in that association. I had to overcome those habits before I could make significant advancement, both in my personal spiritual life and in my preaching. So, it's likely that there's some other devotees somewhere who have gone through a similar process and actually made it. I just don't happen to know any of them. I don't know who they are,
Question from Mother Swati. Please accept my humble obeisances, Babaji. What is the difference between lamenting and crying for Kṛṣṇa that we could not please him enough?
Because lamenting is selfish. Lamenting means I had a desire and I didn't get it. Huh? Like, Kṛṣṇa, I want to see you. Oh, I can't see you? Wah! I want to see you right now, Kṛṣṇa. That's not the way to get Krishna's attention. Krishna is Atma Rama. He's self-satisfied by his own spiritual nature, his internal spiritual potencies. Hladini Shakti. So he doesn't need any of us. Like, Krishna, if you don't appear right now, I'm not going to do any more service. Wah! That's exactly the wrong approach. Krishna is not at all impressed by that. Krishna is impressed when we want to give him pleasure. For example, it's described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that the gopis dressed themselves very nicely. Now usually when a woman dresses herself very nicely for a man, this is considered that she's trying to manipulate the man or, increase his lust or desire so that she can control him. But in the spiritual world, the gopis dress very nicely because they know that it gives pleasure to Krishna. You see? It's a matter of attitude. It's a matter of intention. They may be doing the same thing or a similar thing as materially conditioned people, but their reason for doing it is completely different. See? So their orientation is they get pleasure from giving Krishna pleasure. Or another way to look at it is, by giving Krishna pleasure, Krishna becomes obligated, and he reciprocates by giving them pleasure from within. See, any devotee who even tries a little bit to satisfy Krishna with their service can experience that Krishna directly reciprocates from within the heart. We get spiritual pleasure in Krishna's association by service. So the gopis, as being the most advanced or most pleasurable devotees of Krishna, they give Krishna lots and lots of pleasure, and he responds in kind. So this means that the devotees, or especially the gopis, they don't need to have any direct contact with Krishna. But simply by their service attitude, they get so much pleasure serving Krishna, whether they're with Krishna or not. But this particular night, the night of the rasa dance, they wanted to serve Krishna by being directly associated with him. See? And this was, this has been something that they have been looking forward to for a long time, years, since they were little girls. And finally, it's the night. It's the night of the rasa dance, the full moon in the Sharat season. And so they go out into the woods and they meet Krishna, and first then they have to pass Krishna's test. Remember what happened? The gopis came to where Krishna was playing his flute, and he said, "Oh, now this is very bad. You should all go home. Go and stay with your families and husbands and like that. Don't come out here in the middle of the night. This is against religious principles." And it's described that the gopis were displaying symptoms of loving anger. They were like looking at the ground, drawing pictures with their feet on the ground and like this, and then finally we can imagine it was probably Srimati Radharani spoke up, that Krishna, do you want to be responsible for the death of so many women? That if we can't come out here and please you, you're the enjoyer, you're the owner of every living entity. You can enjoy with the living entities in any way that you desire. So, we're coming out here and we're offering ourselves to you for your enjoyment. Now, if you don't accept this, well, what kind of a lover are you? And then Krishna speaks that famous verse, that I cannot, you gopis, your service to me is so nice that I cannot repay you. This is a very significant verse. The rasa dance hasn't even happened yet. But Krishna speaks and he says, your service is so wonderful, I don't have anything in my treasury valuable enough that I can repay you. You see, so he says, what kind of a lover is it that says, I'll give you this if you give me that? He says, that's business. That's business. It's a deal. I'll offer you this, you offer me that. Okay, equal value, good, it's a deal. He says, what kind of love is that? He says, the love that goes unrequited, or means unreciprocated, without reciprocation. He says, that love is actually superior. Because in that love, there's no consideration of personal profit. Krishna and the gopis have a very elevated discussion on the nature of pure love, unconditional love. And of course, Krishna's unconditional love for the jivas is shown by his ability or his activity of maintaining all the living entities. He doesn't expect anything for that. He really doesn't. He just does it out of pure love. And if we reciprocate his care and offer him devotional service, then he's like pleasantly surprised. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that great? So when Krishna was there with the gopis, they wanted to offer him their nice bodies, their beauty, their attractive pastimes, their affection, their fun-loving, playful nature of dancing and so on. And, you know, they had probably been rehearsing this for a long time, you know, as girls, learning all the steps of the rasa dance and all this. You know, this is a big thing, right? And for Kṛṣṇa to say, no, I don't need this, I don't want this, you all go home. You know, this was the beginning of this mood of wanting Kṛṣṇa to appear so that they could give pleasure, not take pleasure. They already had sufficient pleasure from Kṛṣṇa, from his internal reciprocation. They didn't need any external reciprocation. But they wanted Kṛṣṇa, they wanted to be in Kṛṣṇa's presence for the purpose of